everybody, and welcome to Tanique's Tips. Today is all about making a delicious breakfast yogurt parfait. So I had a conversation with a really good friend of mine, and she said, well, what do you eat for breakfast? And I was telling her sometimes I like to eat breakfast parfaits, and I explained some of the things that I put in mine. And she said, well, that sounds really fancy. And I told her, well, it might sound fancy, but it's really easy to prepare. So I'm going to walk you through some of the steps. I'm going to show you some of the things that I put in mine. One of the things that I love about breakfast parfaits is that they're highly customizable. So I'm going to show you what I put in mine, but if there's something that maybe you prefer over something that I show you, feel free to use whatever you want to use in yours. So I'm going to step you through the ingredients first. So the first thing we have over here is a delicious granola bite. It's soft and chewy. I believe this one's blueberry, and it's by Nature Valley. I got this from Walmart, and I usually use about one to two of these in my breakfast parfaits as a base. Next, I have some dairy alternative yogurt. This is actually made from cultured soy milk, so I'm going to show you the top. The brand is So Delicious. I got this from Wegmans, but they do make other varieties and other brands. So there's some made from coconut milk, some made from almond milk, and there is some made from soy milk. There's an organic brand, Stonyfield, that makes organic blueberry soy milk that is absolutely delicious. So I try to change it up and introduce new flavors every once in a while. Next, I have ground flaxseed. This is flaxseed that's already ground, so you don't have to grind it. I bought this at Walmart as well. One little side tip about flaxseed: after you break the seal, you want to store it in your refrigerator because it will go rancid. So just make sure you keep that in mind, but it does keep for a really long time because you only use a little bit of it at a time. So this is something that's going to go in. It helps add a little more body and texture and add some more bulk to the yogurt parfait. So it'll help you stay full as well, since we're having this for breakfast. So next, this little guy is actually a yogurt parfait cup that my mom bought me for Christmas. So I'm going to use this to build my parfait. You don't have to have one. If you have a food storage container, anything works. Whatever you have at home is fine. I believe she got this from the dollar store around Christmas time, so love the dollar store, it's fantastic. Next, we have a couple of different fruits. First, I have dark sweet cherries. These are frozen. And what I love about frozen fruit is that it's picked when it's ripe, and then they flash freeze it, so it tastes just like fresh. It's an awesome resource to have on hand throughout the year, especially as the berries and the fruit season kind of dwindles. You have an alternative, so you can have fresh fruit and fresh produce in the winter time as well. So this is a year-round recipe. So I have dark sweet cherries because I really like them. And then I also have some frozen fresh blueberries. Now I froze these myself. I bought these at the farmer's market last year, and I actually brought them home and I washed them off. I put them in little sandwich bags, and they've been sitting happily in my freezer ever since. And every once in a while, when I want something that has to do with blueberries, I pull some out and I use them. So I'll have a future video that talks about how to prep your market fresh veggies and fruits for year-round storage and use as well. Finally, I have my two toppings. I have honey. This is wild organic honey. It is fantastic to use as a sweetener. I have a raging sweet tooth, so I like to add a little bit of extra sugar into my yogurt parfait. So I'm going to use about a teaspoon. And I also have some cinnamon. So for my diabetic friends, I like to call these two to your attention because honey is fantastic as a sweetener, a natural sweetener, and it actually has a lower glycemic index than table sugar. Cinnamon has been scientifically proven to help lower and stabilize blood sugar, so it is fantastic. You can sprinkle it on almost anything, so it's really great. I like it because it adds just a little bit of extra spice, and it kind of brings together all of the elements that I'm going to put into my parfait. Alright, so I'm going to show you exactly what I do. So first, we're going to come back over here. I'm going to take one of these little granola bites, and I'm going to crumble it by hand into the bottom of my cup. Next, I'm going to open up my yogurt, and I'm going to put that right on top. probably have to give it a little bit of a stir, because as you know, sometimes yogurt tends to separate. So we're gonna stir this up right before I dump it in. And it actually smells really good. I wish that I could transmit the smell through the camera because it smells fantastic. It smells like coconuts and vanilla. And as you can see, I'm a very messy chef, so I just dump stuff all over my hands. So we're gonna make sure that all of that gets in there. Fantastic. Okay, next we're gonna use about a tablespoon of ground flaxseed. The serving size on the bottle says 2 tablespoons. I prefer 1. I think that it adds just enough for me. But if you really like it, you can add 2. And that's perfectly fine. Right? Next, I'm going to add my dark sweet cherries. I'm just going to dump them on top because that's how I roll. About a handful. Next, I'm going to do about a handful of the berries, the blueberries. Blueberries are so good for you. They add extra fiber. They are so delicious when they're bought fresh because they actually let them ripen and then they pick them at the farmer's market. Now I'm going to add about a teaspoon of honey. And lastly, a few shakes of cinnamon because it's delicious. So now I'm going to make sure my top is secure. I'm actually going to stick this in the fridge overnight. I'm going to let it sit so everything kind of gels and marinates together. Then tomorrow morning, when I take it out of the refrigerator right before I go to work, I'm going to give it a stir. I'll probably give it another stir before I eat it in the morning for my breakfast. So that's it. Quick, easy, delicious, beautiful yogurt parfait.